Tekrardan merhabalar. Üçüncü ve son partı olacağını düşünüyorum oyunun. Oyunun ismi The Beginner's Guide'dı. Burada tam son bölüm bitirmeden önce hop gözünü kapat diyordu. Bir dakika demiyor muydu? Gözümü kapatırsam what? Bunlar blind. Tamam bunları okuyamam ki. Kapatayım mı gözümü şu an? Kapattım şu an gözümü. Ya çok salak hissediyorum kendimi.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is
Açıyorum.
a solution, by the way.
Okay. There was a giant door and then my vision went black. What's going on? Okay. Help me find the shield. Okay. Tamam bu sefer halledeceğiz. Ne lan? Oğlum anlatsana. Ha yukarıda da bir şey var. Anlatmadı. Aşağı gideyim o zaman. Bu ne yapıyor? Research. Research abim hadi. Am I going to be killed by giant door? Evet abi. Ah. Bul lan kalkanı. Please don't let this be forever demiş olduk yanlışlıkla. Bir şey var burada. Oh. Sen? Truth. Tamam bu sefer oraya gideceğim direkt.
Alright, let me explain how you're supposed to do this.
Dur söyleme.
On either side of the room are elevators, which go up to an upper level.
Ya biliyorum sus.
You have to go up, walk over to the person who's standing there, and then select dialogue option number 2.
Tam lan kendim seçtim onu, hayır. Kabul etmiyorum, aynı anda bastım.
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
Ben de abi.
He's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time. It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Koda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Tabii lazım abi yardım. I can't figure out how to say the thing. Acaba adam tekrar bu oyunu oynayıp her seferinde farklı seçenekler mi seçiyordu? I'm alone, I'm stuck in it, I have to work harder. Hayır abi, I have to work harder değil. I'm alone seç. I'm alone en mantıklısı. Tek başına olduğu için biraz kafayı yedi. Ama I'm stuck in it de var. Fikir değiştirebilir aslında. We are going to be okay. Benim arkadaşım böyle şeyler yapsa böyle 4 ayda 5 ayda ben aşırı endişelenirim.
After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something.
4 ay, 5 ay, 6 ay şimdi. Çok net depresyonda adam herhalde. Ben bunu çıkartıyorum. Eyvah eyvah. Cidden bir gerildim şu an, böyle bir midem kasıldı. Kötü hissettim kendim. What is this? Bir puzzle çözecek ve o depresyondan çıkacak bir ara diye hissediyorum da. Umarım. Is it a person? How lovely. Abi korkutma beni. Korku oyunu gibi korkutmak değil. Adam, cidden üzülüyorum Koda'ya. Sonunda intihar eden biri falan değil mi bu? I have nothing left to give to my work. Oh no. There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. It's in your heart falan mı diyecek acaba? Niye durdu?
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Üçüncü seçeneğe bastım, deal yazdı. En de son oraya gitmeyeceğiz mi diyordu. Bu arada ben profesyonel yardım alması için her şeyi yapardım yani.
At the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Ha, basılmıyor mu? He, anlatacağız. Belki yeri toplumu doğru. He, kendisini bu oyunu kullanarak bu kapıyı geçecek ve depresyondan çıkacak mı, ya da depresyondan çıkacak demeyeyim. Çat diye çıkılan bir şey değil çünkü. Ama hayatının bir sonraki aşamasına geçecek. Okey, aç bunu.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way.
Evet.
You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Sesler ne? You have to say that the game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. There's no machine here. Ve kendisini kandırıyordu. Duvarlar çıktı şimdi. Ve gerçekleri görüyor burada. Başka bir puzzle'dan geçmesi gerekiyor. Ya oyunda puzzle değil. Zihninden bahsediyor. It is easy. It never stops being easy.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it,
Gerçeğin önünü ördüğü
really
duvar
unhealthy to me.
yıkılıyor.
I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Evet.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Abi bütün seçenekler çok kötü ya.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Abi ben bile üzüldüm. Kendi arkadaşım olsa bir de bu. Cidden içim çekildi şu anda. Hani ağlayan kadına ulaştık.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7
7 ay oldu
months
Ser.
and comes out with a
Hayır.
new game.
Sen midem kasıldı yani. Bütün seçenekler o kadar kötü ki. Ben de bu Covid döneminde zor bir dönemden geçtim. Şu an böyle triggerlıyor resmen. "7 aydan sonra Machine is Waiting" diye video yapmış adam. Ay, video diyorum, hala oyun yapmış. Ay, interneti bir quick. Basılmıyor bu arada. O direkt Machine adı koda diye söylüyor bu sefer. Aa, puzzle değişik.
And of course, it's the machine.
Moment of Truth mu? You'll destroy the machine abi, kendini mi öldüreceksin? The machine is created olsa olabilir, en azından bu saplantıdan kurtulur belki. Ya tabi olan şeyleri değiştiremeyeceğiz zaten. What the fuck? Aa, silah geri geldi. Eşini öldürmeye mi gidiyoruz şimdi, ne oluyor? Oha. Bunu beklemiyordum. He, bir work'ünü parçalıyor muyuz? Mermi bitiyor mu acaba?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Down your weapon. Basmak mı zorundayım? Evet. Hiç hareket
Can you
edemiyorum, sadece
see why I
basabiliyorum.
felt like this was the right thing to do?
Evet,
Because
görüyoruz
it's the
abi.
thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I
Öyle
guess.
ya.
Um, and so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and
Abi.
it's got a private link to a new game of
Heh,
Coda's. This one is called The Tower,
kötü
and
haber
to my
alacağım, evet.
knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Abi hayır ya. En çok mentor gelecek oyunu seçmiş. Cidden haberim yoktu bu arada.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. this room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze. And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Çok gerildim şu an ya. Ben böyle birlikte Stanley Parable yaptılar falan gibi hayal etmiştim de. O adam yaşıyor mu bilmiyorum şu an tabii.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though, that was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment while I had that, I liked myself.
Ama nereden geldi konu bu kadar ya? Ha, böyle diyor ama şu an resmen şu oynadığımız oyun bile zaten against his wishes yani. Evet, kendi düşüncelerini sakladığı bir yermiş burası ve şu an violate ediyoruz o düşünceleri. Stop adding lamppost neden mi? Lampostları biz mi ekliyormuşuz? Hani o ekliyordu? Bir dakika, koda biz miyiz? Konuşan adam koda mı? İşler karıştı.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
Bu
What is that?
self-hatred gibi bir şey mi bu? Yoksa? Değil ama herhalde yanlış anladım. Wow.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Nereden çıktı?
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe. Anlatılan her şeyi narrator'ın ağzından dinledik. Hep ona göre yorumladık ama.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Bana da benim tam tersim. Ben de external validation hiçbir işe yaramıyor. Kendi içimde bir şeyleri böyle mantığa uyduramadığım sürece. Mesela gelip çevremdeki herkes sen zekisin dese yine de inanmam. Bir şekilde kendi mantığıma uymadığı sürece.
What now?
What now abi, sana soralım. Nereye götürüyorsun bizi?
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need
Kaçma.
to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Prison mu? Biz de mi prison'a düşüyoruz en son? Evet, biliyordum. Ha, yok. Teknik olarak ev bir prison ama çıkışı var. Ama bir yandan küçülüyor mu burası? Yok. Goodbye. O elektrik yeri mi yoksa? Kendini feda etmeli en baştaki şey. Evet. Bu sefer beni yukarı atmayacak işler olacak herhalde. Hayır, yukarı gidiyoruz. Uzaktan bir yazıya falan dönüşmeyecek değil mi? Böyle? Yok. Aynı pattern var galiba. Evet.
Turn back, turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave, let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're
Adamı
so
rahat bırak abi. Huzuru başka yerde bu.
tired. But I know that you're
En baştan beri
strong.
dinlediğimiz narrator'dan bir sorundan bunu çıkardım yani.
So turn
Yani
back,
çok söyledi zaten de yani çok dahice bir çıkarım değil ama
turn
güzel bir misdirection yapmış oldu. Konuşan adama hiç dikkat etmedik. Oyunu yapanlara dikkat ederken. Okey. Bu şekilde bitmiş oldu. Oyun hakkında ne diyeyim? Bir ara cidden bir enerjim emdi ya. Şey, böyle muhtemelen belli bir yaşın altındayken dinlendiğinde veya belli hayatlarda dinlendiğinde pek de bir anlama gelmeyecek ama bir şekilde bazı insanları üzebilecek durumlarda. Yani çok konuşasım yok açıkçası. Cidden enerjime zaten yeterince konuştum muhtemelen oyun sırasında. Bu da böyle bir oyunmuş. Hiç beklediğim gibi değildi. Yani beklediğimden hem daha az gizemli hem de çok daha şeydi. Koyu mu desem ne desem. Çok daha ağırdı. Evet o zaman bir dahaki oyunların daha neşeli olmasını umarak hoşça kalın diyorum. Görüşürüz.